Looks and sounds like we are now live. Um, I just need to get set up here, but in the meantime, you guys, what I will do is I will quickly just leave this on so that you guys can start to, of course, tune in. Just need to see something here. I'll be just a moment. All right. I'm sorry, guys. What's going on right now with me is I'm in a little bit of a pickle at the moment, and I'll explain that shortly. But what's going on with me is I'm just trying to get set up on my end. What ended up happening is that I was in a bit of a rush to get here on time for my 9:30 Central Time live stream. Uh, what I'm going to do is I'm just in the process of tuning in to my live stream here, and then at least this way I can hear your guys' questions. So there is a problem that we are having that I've discovered just now, and it's that if I wanted to do live streams with okay, so the problem is that I did try to actually do a live stream on my brand spanking new cell phone. However, the problem is that I'm not allowed to do mobile live streams until I've managed to somehow get 1,000 subscribers on my channel. And hey, Orbital, good to see you. I don't understand why YouTube makes you have to get 1,000 subscribers to do a live stream on your cell phone, but I think it's total BS myself. But anyways, I mean, unfortunately, because they want to be a bunch of sticklers, and oh, you got to have 1,000 subscribers so that you can live stream on your cell phone and have an actual half decent quality live stream with a new camera and better sound quality, which I have on my phone, which is far better in quality than my goddamn laptop. Well, I have to now get just under 900 more subscribers. Uh, Come on. I mean, that's just BS in my opinion. I'm sorry. But anyways, I'm going to take a quick minute here just to get a few more things set up on my end. I'm going to be just a moment. I'll try and be less than a minute, and then we'll get into what I am hoping to accomplish in our very first official live stream tonight. And for somebody who's been trying to get home from work so I can get on here and do this live stream for you guys as soon as I could, I'm in very good spirits right now because I've got tomorrow off. Woohoo! All right, guys, I'll be about 30 seconds. Hopefully, at the most, a minute. Okay, you guys, it seems that I'm ready to go here on my end. So, just checking once again to make sure that this thing is picking up my sound, which it looks like it is. That's good. Okay, so okay, why is it lagging on my end? Okay, what the hell? Okay, I'm just trying to figure out this live stream on my end. Sorry, guys. Doing these live streams is something that's relatively new for myself, so I do apologize in advance if I have some quality issues or some organizational issues on my end. Let's just see here. Um, there we go. That's a little bit better. Okay, so here is the plan that I'm going to have for the live stream tonight. As of right now, I think what I'll do is I will for sure be live for at least the next 30 to 45 minutes. Depending on how this stream does end up going, I may possibly extend it a little bit longer. But since this is my very first official live stream, what I will be doing is I will be trying to keep it at a shorter length just to make sure that we see how things go the first time around, and just in case there's any potential sound or audio quality issues. I'm more worried, or they're the same thing, but I'm mostly concerned about the sound quality on my end. I mean, if we were doing this live stream on my brand spanking new cell phone, we would have no problems with sound. I would have the sound on there. I'd be talking into that camera. And then on top of that, I'd be here on my laptop watching you guys in the comments section and being able to kill two birds with one stone, eh? So unfortunately, that is not a luxury that I have because YouTube has decided that, oh, you need to have a zillion different subscribers, 1,000 subscribers, so that you can have a live stream on your cell phone. Okay, so I'm just going to check one last thing here on my end. All right. So Nick, thank you for posting the link saying that the Rockzilla is live. I mean, I think I really like the name of the what I've given my live stream actually. The TheRockzilla94 live. That sounds kind of exciting. Okay, so this is my very first official live stream in channel history, and it's only taken almost 4 years to get to this point. And you know, that's pretty damn crazy. But before I get into what I do, you might have to start live streaming on Twitch. Not sure if there's a sub count on there. I have no idea how that works, Orbital. But thank you for mentioning the Twitch thing. I will keep that in mind. I mean, you know, it's actually too bad that I couldn't just do a live stream on through Discord or some way to do recording on Discord and then it go to point C YouTube. But yeah, no, I mean, I may have to live stream on Twitch, or you know, all of us could create 1,000 enough bot accounts to create 1,000 subscribers so that I can use my phone. Not that it matters. But okay, guys, I'm going to start this live stream off like this. There is a question that I do have that I want to ask you guys. And it's this. It's a little bit personal, and I don't mean to ruffle any feathers when I ask this question. Excuse me. But anyways, over the past few weeks, I've noticed that there's been about 3 to 5 of my videos that have not even received a single like. And I was wondering if there's anything about my videos as of late that you guys have not cared for. And if there's anything that you guys think that I should work on or something that you wish I would focus on more, you're more than welcome to tell me, whether it's here or Discord or to even message my page on Facebook. I'm sure it's just a case of nobody bothering. And you know what, guys, I'm not worried about likes or dislikes on my page. I'm just grateful that I have you guys to talk to and enjoy making videos for. But there is something I do want to bring up about this, and it's the fact that, you know what, I just want to make sure that my videos are up to snuff for you guys and that you guys are still enjoying them. As long as you guys are enjoying my videos, that's all I care, because I enjoy doing my videos so that I can talk about jerseys and other hockey and sports related things. And you know what, guys? As long as you guys are enjoying it, everything, that's all I care. Um, but yeah, I figured I'd mention that real quick, um, because I did see that recently, and I was kind of wondering to myself, I did make that two-part video series about what is known so far regarding new NHL jerseys, and I know that both videos were almost an hour in length each, so I can understand if people are maybe thinking, well, your videos are a little too long, or maybe the sound and audio quality isn't the greatest, which I can understand that too, which I'm hoping that is going to start to slowly get rectified now. And I'll get into more about my new phone in just a moment here, but I just thought I'd mention that about the videos, where if you guys feel there's anything about my recent videos at all that you guys have maybe been thinking, well, I'm not a fan of this, you're more than welcome to let me know. Um, but yeah, no, I just thought I'd ask that just to make sure that everything's good for you guys in terms of my video quality and the stuff that I'm making, because you know what, guys, I do this channel because I really, not only do I enjoy making videos and sharing my thoughts and stuff, but the main thing for me about this channel that I love so much is the fact that I get to talk about uniforms and other hockey stuff that I really like to talk about with other people that are equally, if not even more passionate about it than I am. So that's really, really cool, and that's something that I love about this channel. So that's why I just figured I'd throw that out there. Eh? So, um, okay, I know I pressed the like button. I wonder if it's YouTube being stupid. Yeah, it's possible. I mean, if YouTube makes you have to have 1,000 goddamn subscribers so that you can do a live stream on your cell phone in 2019, well, yeah, they're probably being stupid. Sorry if I'm sounding extremely cynical, Nick. It's just, that just kind of pisses me off. And another thing, it really pissed me off about how your channel got a copyright strike against it too, by the way. That really bothered you. And you know what? That's just not fair. And as far as I'm concerned, it's a whole load of bull. Beep. And for the record, I'm going to try and censor myself, even though I know some people are more relaxed on their live streaming rules in terms of language. I figure, you know what, I'll try and keep it relatively PG-13 rated, maybe not necessarily rated R. And we're not going to go to rated triple X. That's no, just pretend I didn't say that. Oh wow, you like the length of my videos, Orbital? That's fantastic. Okay, I'm very happy about that. And you know what? That's also kind of something that I do aim for as well, eh? I mean, Orbital, what I do try to do is I do try to make sure that I do have lots of good footage in my videos, especially on the What Is Known So Far video series that I just completed, the two-parter. Like, for example, I actually sat down for about a good two to 2.5 hours making all of those Carolina Hurricanes jersey concepts I made, and that Edmonton Oilers concept, which was my guess as to what the new alternate jersey for the Edmonton Oilers next season may just end up looking like. So, um, but yeah, overall, I do, as of right now at least, I do like the idea of keeping my videos more podcast format, because I talk and then you guys can enjoy other things on the side and just listen on the side. That's what I like. Um, there was something else I think I wanted to address too. Oh no 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 no! It's not a shot at your streams. No 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 no, Nick. Sorry, no. I don't mean that at all. I'm so sorry if you took it that way. No, I just try to avoid coarse language at all, just because the thing for me is I just try to keep it relatively more PG rated for anybody who wants to tune in. And in case I might have ruffled your feathers by accident, I'll explain. A lot of my friends in my personal life growing up were Christians who did not like coarse language. So um, it's the reason that's the reason sometimes when I make videos, I think about those friends of mine that are very devout Christians, and I think, well, I know they don't like coarse language, so if I'm doing a video and maybe one of them was watching, would I do it with any coarse language in it? Probably not. I mean, I have said at least uh, ass in some videos. I don't think I've said uh, the whole the full meaning of the abbreviation BS yet. I'm sure that'll come one day. But okay, okay, you were kidding. Okay, Nick, you got me. Okay, you got me, bro. You got me. Okay, you like the length of the videos? Also, some of the long videos as a podcast. Awesome. Okay, I'm glad that you guys are liking the length. Okay, that's good. And Nick, yeah, sorry, I'm just so used to keeping things G-rated around my Christian friends in my personal life. So it's, when I do my YouTube videos, it's, I don't mind. Oh, well, Orbital, have we seen a face cam video of you before? I have to make the confession that no, we have not as of yet. Um, to be quite honest, I'm not really the most comfortable with it. And I tip my hat to everybody else who does because you guys are very brave. But for me, I'll be honest. I really like the idea of just being a voice, just being this guy who films stuff, and I'm just the guy talking, and everybody just knows me as TheRockzilla94. Um, Also, this is going to sound really weird. I'm going to try to describe this in the best way possible, but what I do like to do is, for me, this channel is kind of this extension of myself in some ways, where I feel like I can just be open, where you show your face and people know who you are. Well, and by that what I mean is, people aren't going to be asking me about anything in my videos in my personal life either. And that's something that honestly, I mean, will I always never show my face? Probably not. I'm sure there'll come a day where I probably will. I mean, even if you see the YouTuber Star Wars Theory, he always, never showed his identity or face to anybody until he created this Darth Vader fan film that was so much better than Star Wars Episode 8. It was the best Star Wars anything I have seen in like 12 years or like 15 years since Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith. Well, actually, as I say that, I did enjoy Rogue One, but so far the new Star Wars episodes I have not enjoyed, and I've felt that Star Wars Theory did such a phenomenal job. I was very surprised you were at the Cubs game the other day, Nick. That is pretty awesome that you were. For me, I was kind of thinking, shoot, I missed another one of Nick's awesome live streams, uh, but yeah, no, when I saw that, I was very happy for you, but at the same time, I was thinking, oh, good, I'm not going to miss his live stream because on Friday night, I was at work and all three of our cash registers were lined up to the back of the store. It was super busy. Oh, you were at the game today? Um, who won? It sounds like from what you said earlier about the Cubs having a rough weekend that they lost. Oh no, understandable, Orbital. I totally understand where you're coming from. Was just a thought you had. No, I can understand why, because I mean I've been running this channel for almost 4 years, right? So I mean, in the fact that after 4 years that I've never actually shown my face anywhere at any point, I can understand you maybe saying, "Hey, have you ever shown your face before?" Don't worry. I mean, I'd probably have the same. I actually had the same thought about Star Wars Theory who has an awesome YouTube channel too, by the way, um, for a long time until he did his whole major fan film and the whole spectacle around that. That was amazing. Um, oh, you were swept today by St. Louis. Hey, question for you, Nick. Were you at the game yesterday? Swept today by St. Louis. I need to get a new computer or start using my newer computer for live streams because I forgot about it all over again. Damn it. Because what's happening now is my connection is not totally live. So your responses are a tad bit delayed by about 5 seconds. Let's see. Were you at the game yesterday on June 1st, 2019, Nick? Ah, I see. I was going to say I'm a big fan of those Cardinals powder blue away uniforms. I think they're absolutely gorgeous. And by the way, I love the Cubs jerseys too. Don't worry, their jerseys are beautiful. Um, my favorite MLB team is the Toronto Blue Jays because they are Canadian, and I also like the Seattle Mariners because they're on the western side of North America. So they're kind of those are the two closer to home teams for me. So that's why I root for those two teams. But I don't mind the Cubs, and I'm very happy that the curse of the Billy Goat is no longer something we have to hear about all the time. Um, the Cubs are a team I like too, believe it or not. Okay, so was there anything channel related that I wanted to necessarily talk about at the moment? Um, just going to quickly go into my channel's list of videos here. And was there anything in particular that I was going to talk to you guys about while I've got you guys here on the live stream? Um, hmm. Well, I'm noticing right now that my computer is making molasses look like a faster option for speed than my internet connection, even though I know my internet here at home seems to be pretty good as of late, which has been a real blessing. So I see there's now 4 of you guys watching. This is awesome. I'm so happy about that. Okay. So there is something I do want to talk about here. Okay. Oh, 3 a.m. Central Time. Oh my goodness. Which other junior teams would I like to see redesigned? That's a great question, Orbital. One team to start with would be the Rouyn-Noranda Huskies that just won the 2019 Memorial Cup, and also the Prince Albert Raiders. Love the colors. I hate the uniforms, and I hate their logo. They have a very nice color scheme, but I just feel they don't utilize it properly. Um, any other teams I can think of off of the top of my head? Let's see. I would actually really like to see the Prince George Cougars of the Western Hockey League redesign their uniforms. And I would also like to actually see the Everett Silvertips go back to something inspired by those dark green jerseys with the white chest stripe on them that they wore in the past few years. Those were gorgeous. The only thing I would fix about them is to actually have a nice bare logo instead of a big old English style letter E. I'm just trying to think of other teams. I wouldn't mind seeing the Vancouver Giants go with something a little more traditional myself, even though I've never disliked their uniforms. Um, any other teams I can think of off of the top of my head? The Calgary Hitmen as well. I don't like how they've gone with basically the style of uniforms that the Buffalo Sabres have been wearing since 2010. Um, the black, red, and copper. I hate that copper color. I hated it when the Oilers had it, and I dislike it just as much now. Um, and okay, so I know I brought up the Ruined Noranda Huskies, the Prince Albert Raiders. I actually wouldn't mind seeing the Halifax Mooseheads just go with a full-time dark green uniform. I mean, I've seen one with a white shoulder yoke recently, but I think that was more of a throwback. But you know what? Too many teams wear red. I'd like to see another team in hockey wear dark green. Um, with the Raiders, I love that they wear the Kelly green again, but they need to get a new logo. I loved that pirate logo that they used to have. I thought that was perfectly fine. The Prince George Cougars uniforms are a catastrophic atrocity, in my opinion. The Vancouver Giants could go with something a little bit more traditional. I do like their black or their silver heavy black gradient filled jersey. Those are really cool and unique for a third jersey. Um, oh, you own that green Halifax jersey, Orbital. That's awesome. That's a beautiful jersey, by the way. Um, hey, Pie Eater. Great to have you on here, too. Hey, Nick. Sorry to quickly overlook your comment here, but I'm 100% hoping myself and keeping my fingers crossed that that golfer collar that we saw with the Fanatics leak or replica that you posted on my Discord here or our Discord. Um, I really do hope that's not what we're getting. Oh, an Erie DeBrincat jersey. Wow. You know what, Nick? If you're going to get an Erie Otters one, get the gold one with the word mark on it. Because I think DeBrincat wore that jersey. I think that when he was an Otter, correct me if I'm wrong, but he was wearing those navy blue and white jerseys that had the red and gold on them. But yeah, no, Nick, I'm really concerned about Chicago's updated collars. I really hope that Fanatics replica that you posted on Discord, and folks, if you want to go check it out there, um, it would definitely be recommend. But but yeah, I got to tell you, folks, I really, and especially to you, Nick, because you mentioned it, but those Adidas collars, if that's what Chicago's adopted, I'm sorry, but I would like to give a middle finger to Adidas on behalf of all of us because let me tell you, that is just a joke. Oh, the gold one, Nick, with the word mark? Is that the one you're going to buy with DeBrincat on it? I mean, even though it's just got a word mark on the front, it's one hell of a nice sweater. And speaking of the Erie Otters, they are actually one junior team whose redesign I'm actually very, very impressed with. Their new logo, it's a bit cartoonish for me, but you know what? As I say that, it looks great on their new updated away jersey, which is the same. Well, with only the only changes are that the new logo replacing the script and the new shoulder patch in the Keystone Bell. Um, that jersey and the navy blue jersey I really like, but Nick, I do agree with you on the navy blue jersey. It does need a bit of a tweak. What I would have done is I would have had a thin navy blue stripe between each part where the gold and the white meet up, just to break it up a bit. I think that would have been perfect. But back to you, Orbital. So other teams I'm trying to think of that could maybe use a bit of a facelift. Um, Another team too that I was going to do a video about was the Saskatoon Blades. I'm actually really happy that they did go to their retro colors and their uniforms, but I wouldn't have minded maybe a slight modernization of their logo. I do like it. but I would not necessarily be against a bit of a slight tweaking to it, just a slight modernization to it. Oh, Nick, you made the right choice getting the gold one. But yeah, I really do feel that the Otters did a great job with their redesign. I love the Blades jerseys, even though they're the same template as the Penguins. Um, all the gold on the arms and stuff, I might have done it a little bit differently, where I might not have had the gold plates on the arms of the blue jersey, just like Pittsburgh has on their home jersey. I might have done that a little bit different, where there's just some arm striping and waist striping, but I like it the way it is, though. Is there any other junior teams that I could think of that could use a bit of a facelift? A team I would like to see do a bit of a facelift is the London Knights. I'd like to see them stop wearing black and white and just wear their dark green third jersey they had for a while with the Maple Leaf style striping. Well, before their current uniforms, and go with like a matching vintage white version of that would have been cool. Another team too, the Kelowna Rockets. They're a team that I would not mind seeing getting a bit of a tweak to their uniforms. I don't like their Reebok Edge-esque uniforms, and their red jersey with the Ogopogo logo on it, with just the head and the face. I there's just been something really weird and goofy about that logo that I've never liked. Um, Okay, any other teams that in the Canadian Hockey League that I would like to see fix their uniforms? Another one is the Flint Firebirds. They've adopted the Buffalo Sabres Turd Burger uniform template, which I don't recommend anybody doing that. Even though I thought that was a very unique idea for a third jersey. Just because it's unique doesn't mean you should do it. I certainly don't believe that just because you can do something doesn't necessarily mean you should. And that's a real. And speaking of teams that have done some bad things, let's just take a quick moment to think about that 2019 Stadium Series game between the Flyers and the Penguins. Those big, ugly ass helmet decals. And there you go, Nick. I said ass. Um, okay, I'm being a little bit raunchy now, which is, I think it's allowed once in a while. You gotta let loose a little bit. Yeah, no, the new Calgary Hitmen jerseys, they do blend in way too much. And you know what, Orbital? I gotta say something else though. Those throwbacks that the Hitmen had with the gray and pink on them. I mean, I don't like pink myself, but with the small minimal amounts of pink on that jersey, there's something about it that actually really works. I mean, if it were me, I would get rid of the pink and replace it with the bright scarlet red that the Flames use. And I would make that the main jersey with a matching away. And I think that would be amazing. Oh, the ugly bucket game for sure. Absolutely. Those and you know what? It's back to the Stadium Series game. I actually feel that everything except for the helmet decals on the Penguin Stadium Series jersey. I thought that the Penguin Stadium Series uniform was actually not too bad. It didn't feel as half finished to me as their current third jersey does, even though I love the Pittsburgh gold and I love the fact that the Penguins made their Pittsburgh gold Stadium Series jersey into something that was eventually tweaked into a new alternate. Oh, the Blue Jays are doing terrible right now, Sean. I'm hoping that they can get everything together. I mean, we got to see a Canadian. We got to see our Canadian team do well. And speaking of Canadian teams, I've heard that there's a piece of land that some potential owners for a future Major League Baseball team in Montreal have supposedly got their hands on. I could be wrong, but I heard something promising. about maybe a new baseball stadium being built in Montreal, and I really do hope it happens. Canada needs another Major League Baseball team, and we also need another NBA team. I think that Vancouver should get a team again. I know for a fact that Vancouver is very big. There's a lot of people that are very big on basketball in Vancouver. And I have no doubt in my mind that they would be equally as successful as Toronto. I don't think they would be more successful, but I also don't think they would be less successful. I think they would be equally as good for the NBA as Toronto. Even though I hate basketball, I think it'd be great for fans on the West Coast of Canada that love basketball to have a team to support too. And it would be a great rivalry. Well, Pie Eater, I mean, for a one-time thing, I was okay with both teams doing something radically different and special for the Stadium Series game, but I don't want to see it make its way into the mainstream in the National Hockey League. I mean, with the Penguins Stadium Series jersey, if they would just wear a regular helmet decal on each side of the helmet with the monochrome Penguins logo and all Pittsburgh gold, that would be an awesome idea. And you know what? I would like it enough for them to replace their current third jersey and wear that as a third jersey for a while with properly sized arena sized numbers instead of the elongated ones. I mean, I just I just feel like the Penguins' new third jerseys are very half finished in appearance. And for me, I really don't like the fact that they took the Stadium Series jersey and, in my opinion, sucked the life out of it. The little things that made it really special, like the captaincy patches in the triangle from the Penguins crest and the stencil font, numbers and letters on the back. I thought those were really cool. The only thing I think, excuse me, the only thing I think that Pittsburgh needed to do was just put some waist striping. A nice, simple black, white, black striping pattern on the bottom of the waist, the exact same as what the Rangers have on their home jerseys. And that would have been a perfect alternate uniform. And of course, ultimately moving the numbers from the shoulders to inside the arms or onto the arms. And I think that would have been terrific. Um, and what I also would have done is, I would have even potentially put a Keystone Bell type shoulder patch on it with the abbreviation for Pittsburgh, which is PIT Pitt. I think that something like that could have been really really cool. In fact, I might even eventually sit down and do something like that as a concept. Um, But yeah, no, Pie Eater, I do agree. I mean, the idea of teams trying something special for this Stadium Series game once in a blue moon, it's not the end of the world. But you know what? I just thought those helmet decals were just so bad. And you know what? Speaking of decals, I actually believe that the Edmonton Oilers are going to be the first NHL team to ever adopt a radically different helmet style for their new third jersey. And if it's not the Oilers, I could see I could see Las Vegas wanting to do something a little bit more radical with their new third jersey. I mean, considering that they've gone with a steel gray heavy uniform identity, which is the most unique color wise since the San Jose Sharks joined the National Hockey League back in 1991. I mean, I could see the Golden Knights maybe doing something a little bit more radical and a little bit more modern looking than even what they've got now. I mean, for modern uniforms with utilizing steel gray instead of black, something that no other NHL team has ever done before, and nobody's ever used a dark gray before. And you know what? I mean, for their current uniforms, they really did keep them relatively traditional in design and appearance. So I'm thinking that their new third will probably be a little bit more of a big show, really living up to what Las Vegas is always known for. Big shows and a real big place to just party and let loose and really have fun. That's really kind of the Vegas mantra as far as I know. Yeah, no. I'm just trying to read some of your comments here for a moment. Yeah, no, Sean, I agree, and good for you. Good to see you on the stream too, man. Yeah, the Stadium Series helmets I thought were terrible. Montreal coming back, take the Tampa Bay Rays. They suck. Wow, I wasn't expecting that comment. But you know, I know that the Rays have had attendance, and I think they've had financial issues. I mean, I'd hate to see Tampa Bay lose the Rays, but if they can't support their team or choose not to support their team, you know, I would love to see another team here up north in Canada. And you know what? I know that Montreal will be a wonderful, wonderful fan base for that team and its players and organization. They will be treated like celebrities in Montreal. Mark my words, if they move there. Uh, you know what? You'll really notice that in Canadian cities, it seems like when our cities get teams for a lot of sports, we seem to be pretty loyal fans, especially for hockey. But you know what? Our whole country, everybody is watching the Toronto Raptors in the finals right now in the NBA. The Toronto Blue Jays, everybody and their dog across Canada was watching the Blue Jays when they were in the playoffs. I mean, I think part of the reason our support's really good up here is because we don't have as many teams to cheer for. And of course, on top of that, you know, uh, we don't have a lot of success very often as a country when it comes to professional sports here in North America. So when our teams do good, we really are grateful for it. Their fan base and stadium, yeah. Nick, I'm reading your comment now about what I wonder what the Panthers are going to do for their third this year. I have a feeling it will include the updated Leaping Panther, but I'm sorry, Orbital. I wholeheartedly disagree that the updated Leaping Panther should be on a new jersey. I don't think it should even be their alternate logo. I think it should be scrapped and dumped in the dumpster fire. I dislike it completely. I tried to give it a chance when it was first unveiled 3 years ago, thinking, okay, well maybe this will grow on me. It looks more like a cat monster to me. I love the overly detailed '90s Panthers logo. I still think it's the greatest logo the Panthers have ever had, and one of the best logos in the entire NHL. I mean, I've always really, really liked that logo. And you know what? I mean, I like their current jersey design. I love that. I love the chest stripe. I just don't. I just don't love the rest of it. The shoulder numbers, the new state flag lace-up collar on the Addy Zero template just looks bad. I mean, the Addy Zero jerseys. I'll get into that later on. Are just bad, but you know, the new logo looks more like a soccer crest. I have a Panthers jersey. I have their red Reebok one from the final year of that Reebok made the jerseys. And the Panthers' state flag inspired lacing was brilliant, and it looks absolutely gorgeous on that jersey. But in the Addy Zero era, they've just taken the collars and the jerseys in general and just burned them to hell, in my opinion. But I'm thinking for a third jersey this year, the Panthers are probably going with the Leaping Panther. I think the Panthers are due for a new uniform design. So I would be shocked if they did anything other than red or navy blue for a third. I think it will be navy blue. But I could see the Panthers doing something very radical for an alternate jersey. And you know what? I think it's time for the Panthers to do something new for a third jersey. And you know what? Even if it's the new Leaping Cat, you know what? For an alternate jersey, the fact that they created and they updated it, I think it's, you know, I would be curious to see what it looks like on a jersey. I mean, I'd be willing to give it one chance, even though I don't like it. I don't think it should be on a jersey at all, but, you know, the point of third jerseys are to try something new once in a while. And you know what? I mean, what I'd like to see is if the Panthers are going to bring that Leaping Panther, the updated one that they've made their as a secondary logo in their new with their new uniforms from a few years ago that they're now wearing and have worn since 2016. I'd like to see them try a new design altogether, something just different. But hopefully it's not going to be terrible. But I don't have a lot of confidence in the Adidas, though. So far, their new designs that they've created overall have not been designs that I've been a big fan of overall. Some things they've done have been okay. I mean, the Golden Knights jerseys are actually not too bad for something very modern in appearance. And using the steel gray. The Colorado Avalanche in their new uniforms, there are a drastic upgrade. But you know what? They could be wearing a neon green and burgundy, and it would be an upgrade anyway. Also, as well, the Flames uniforms did get an upgrade. Carolina's new home jersey was an upgrade. I think their new away jersey is probably just going to match the red one, but I'll talk more about that shortly. Um, yeah, I agree with you, Orbital, that the execution for those Stadium Series helmets was horrible. And, you know, I'd be willing to see an updated Leaping Panther logo on a navy blue based jersey, but I want to see the Panthers try something new if they're going to do that. Nick, I'm reading your comment now. We know the Wings don't like having a third. One of my friends and I was giving it some thought. What if the Wings used their normal jersey with the preseason number and named Kid as a third next year? I guarantee that will not happen as a full-time third, Nick. That's if the Red Wings have signed on for a new third jersey, my idea, what they're going to do is they're going to launch something either that we've seen before in the Addy Zero cut or something new or something out of the vault. Because now that the Red Wings have moved into their new arena, I could see them wanting to try a new type of alternate uniform in order to make some money. I mean, do I think they're really going to mess with their tradition? I don't think so, but after that 2016 Stadium Series monstrosity that they wore against the Colorado Avalanche in that one game, anything could go. I mean, you know, one day you might be thinking, well, they're probably just going to bring out a throwback, but next thing you know, they bring out that Stadium Series jersey back, and my God, that would be horrible. I could actually see them taking that Stadium Series logo and putting it on their new third jersey. If they do, I hope it's something more traditional in appearance. But I actually have a weird feeling that they may just take their 2014 Winter Classic sweater and make that their full-time third. You know, it's a very safe choice. It's not my favorite design, and I really hope they don't. But if they had to have a third, I'd rather them pick that than the Stadium Series jersey or anything related to it in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, come to St. Louis. Oh, you will be at the Panthers Blues game next year. That's pretty damn cool. First, I really dislike the Panthers New Jerseys and logo because I love the old ones so much, but they've grown on me and now I love them. You know what, Pie Eater? I do have to agree in the sense that the Panthers New Jerseys are they're pretty decent. They're not, in my opinion, the greatest, but they're not the worst. But there are things about their new jerseys that do bug me. Number one, the shoulder numbers. Number two, the lazy state flag arm patches that they have. The sun, palm tree, and hockey stick was one of the most brilliant secondary logos in NHL history, in my opinion. And to say that about a 90s expansion team, in my opinion, is such a nice thing to say because, you know, they were a team that, for coming into the 90s, where it was an era of really wanting to try crazy things. I mean, just look at the Wild Wing Duck jersey, for Christ's sake. You know, they did a great job with their logos. I mean, even their jerseys, I mean, I don't think their jerseys were the greatest. And I do think that their current jerseys, in terms of their simplicity, are better. But, you know, their old jerseys were a lot more creative in a lot of ways. But I do agree, their current jerseys are not bad. There are some major changes I would make to them, though. I mean, I think the half-finished chest stripe does work, but the shoulder numbers, they just don't work for me. And the back really does look a bit too plain for me, even though it's not the end of the world. It's not a deal breaker, but those arm logos need to be shoulder logos again. And the Panthers need to put their numbers back on the arms at the bare minimum. I'd even be happy with the Panthers bringing back that two-shade blue jersey with the updated Panther head. You know what, Orbital? I think that could work, but I got to make a confession. I would really like to see the Panthers just try something new. If they've gone out of their way to take that gorgeous 90s Panthers Leaping Panther logo and really tone it down, and I know it's a matter of opinion, but I think they ruined it, in my opinion. But I think that if they've gone out of their way to spend the time and the money to modernize their classic logo, original logo, and still, in my opinion, their greatest logo to this very day, by a country mile and a half, um, at least put it on a jersey. I mean, at least do something new. I want to see something that's heavy in red and at least the new shade of gold that's on their home and away jerseys. I mean, something that was in navy blue with red and actual yellow gold instead of the metallic gold they switched to a few years ago. I think something like that could actually maybe be salvageable. I mean, I could even see the Panthers doing something radical with some scratch mark striping somewhere. I mean, it would be nuts, but at the same time, I mean, I do want to see the Panthers try something new. But since it's Adidas that make the uniforms now, I don't have a lot of confidence it's going to be that great anyway. So, you know, but I would at the same time, just to see something new, that would make me happy. But I'm sure it's going to be very, very mediocre. I Once again, I have very little faith in Adidas. If this leak that Nick has posted on our Discord page about the Blackhawks half-finished golfer collar on this Fanatics replica that was posted on, I believe, Reddit, is what the Blackhawks are adopting for new collars next year, then, if Adidas can't even get the collars right, how can they get a new design right? In my personal opinion, I'm not a fan of what they've done. Um, I want Florida to bring back their old uniforms. I'd like to at least see them bring back their original red jersey as a throwback. I mean, I think their current jerseys are good enough to keep as their main jerseys for a little longer. I'd like to see them stick around because, I mean, I do think they should make the changes that I mentioned earlier for sure as a starting point, but I also feel that they are more than good enough to be their primary uniforms for a little longer than 3 years. I do think they're actually not too bad myself, even though they definitely could be a lot better. For me, I would give them a 3 out of 5. And at first, I gave them a 2.5 out of 5. But you know what? The new uniforms as a whole have grown on me enough. I can give them a 3 out of 5 and say that they're decent. But they're not great. But they're all right. I can live with them. I'd like the Red Wings to use that all red jersey they used in the alumni game in the Winter Classic versus Chicago. Which one was that, Orbital? I'm trying to think. So that's going back a decade. Is that the red version of the Detroit Cougars throwbacks the Red Wings used for that game? That's what I'm wondering. If that's the one, I could live with that as a third jersey. But speaking of Detroit, you guys, there is something that I will say now, real quick. I actually have a feeling that it's either going to be a Detroit Cougars throwback or it's going to be their 2014 Winter Classic sweater. And if it's not one of those options, it'll definitely be something new with their Stadium Series Detroit Cougars inspired logo. It was a great logo. It's just everything else except for the logo was horrible, including the collars, which they'll be even worse in the Addy Zero era. Here, I'll be right back. Hey guys, I'll be just a moment. There's something I just got to take care of. Hey guys, sorry about that. There was something I needed to take care of there real quick. Somebody just knocked on the door. Okay, I love a go. I want to bring back the old uniforms. At least it was a throwback. I agree. Um, and yes, Nick, I'm just getting to your comment now. I really hope I see the Hawks Winter Classic come back next year. I totally agree with you, Nick. I mean, if they brought that back, I mean, at least that would be something good that we could talk about in regards to Chicago's jerseys. Because ever since the moment the Adidas uniforms were unveiled, Adidas has ruined the Blackhawks, in my opinion. I mean, there are some small things about the Blackhawks Winter Classic jersey that, as I've said to you quite a few times, I'm sure by now, I would have done them a little bit differently. I do have to say, I do feel that the Blackhawks Winter Classic jersey from this past season, or earlier this year in January, which I can't believe was already 6 months ago or 5 months ago, you know, I got to say that, you know what, for a jersey that, even though I would have done it a little bit differently myself, it is a great choice for a third jersey. And the simple black and white uniform, which is a real throwback to the 30s and the late 20s, I, I think it's an awesome, awesome throwback tribute jersey or a throwback jersey. And you know what? Not only do I think Chicago absolutely has to make it their third jersey going forward, but you know what, Nick? I'll tell you something else too. I really want to buy one once the price range comes down. Once I can find one for a decent price, that is an Adidas jersey. And honestly, that is one of the first Adidas jerseys that I have seen that I've really, really wanted in 2 years. I mean, for myself, I really wanted an Arenas throwback. Thankfully, I'm now the owner of one. Another one that I would really like to have is the St. Pat's throwback. That is, if I can't find a Reebok one. If I can't find a Reebok Blues throwback, I would not mind getting a third jersey in the Addy Zero cut at least. It's better than nothing. Um, and on top of that, as well, if there was another one I'm thinking of now. But yeah, no, Chicago's is my favorite jersey in the Addy Zero era so far, the 2019 Winter Classic one, and Boston's not too far behind. I know a lot of people out there don't like Boston, but I gotta say, they are one team that's always, in the past, when it comes to outdoor games, Boston has hit it out of the ballpark each and every time with their uniforms, in my opinion. Even though this year's version of their or this year's Winter Classic sweater that they brought out, I would have done it a little bit differently myself as well. But as I say that, though, I do think it's pretty nice too. Um, Sorry, guys, I'm just trying to keep up with all of your comments here at the moment. A Miami Vice style Panther jersey, Nick. That is such a radically crazy idea that, you know what, I will make. I will make a point here that, I would like to see the Panthers try something new since they have created a new secondary logo. Um, if they've decided that to really downgrade, in my opinion at least, their original Leaping Cat, I mean, at least try something new and try something new that's different, and it's something totally different. So a Miami Vice theme, if they tried that, I would be in. I'd be curious to see how that turns out. That would be kind of cool. I mean, at least it'd be creative. I mean, but it might be creative for all the wrong reasons, though. I certainly do not want to see a pink jersey, by the way. That just that's something that I just don't want to see. I mean, if they want to do like a navy blue and teal type thing, I mean, that would be really cool. That would be great. Um, the one with the white stripe along the chest and the Classic D logo, yes. Orbital, I totally agree. That would either one, either the red or the white, would be a great choice for a third jersey. Yes, and actually, Orbital, I think that was the uniform used in the alumni game between the Maple Leafs and the Red Wings for their Centennial Classic game. And speaking of the Centennial Classic game, if it wasn't for the top stripe on each arm of that Red Wings sweater being silver, with all of the years that they won the Stanley Cup inside the stripe, which I thought was a really stupid gimmick, if that Red Wings jersey had all four stripes on the arms red and the rest of the uniform left alone, that would be an awesome choice for a third jersey as well. I mean, Adidas turtleneck or retro rounded collar style, the Adidas one is still good enough that, you know what, they can take a classic sweater and it's still kind of okay. Okay, it wasn't used in that year because there wasn't one. It wasn't used that year. There wasn't one. It was in 2014. Oh, okay. Yes, Nick, I think you're right. It was in 2014. Thank you for the correction. Yeah, now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure you're right. I don't know for sure, but I'm going to say that I think you're probably right. How many years left on the Adidas contract? That's a good question. I think what I know is that there's too many left. Um, it's I have to be honest. I just have not. There's ever since the Adi Zero uniforms were unveiled and put on the NHL onto NHL teams. Ever since the Addy Zero switchover, I've just not been as much of a fan of the jerseys. They've really gone downhill, in my opinion, and maybe I'll get into that shortly here. I want that classic Red Wings jersey to come back. Yes, Orbital, I wholeheartedly agree with you. I would rather see a red version of the 2009 Winter Classic jersey as a full-time third than the 2014 one because I felt that the red and beige together were a very overrated combination. I felt it looked terrible. I mean, the red was great. The red versus blue matchup against Toronto for one special outdoor game was awesome. It was a beautiful matchup, but bright red and vintage white just do not look good together. I also hated the fact that Detroit had that Detroit word mark over their retro wing wheel logo. I mean, if Detroit was going to use vintage white, you know what I think would have looked absolutely amazing? If they would have taken the word mark off of it and actually made the jersey burgundy instead. I think an aged red, like a candy red borderline burgundy, would have been spectacular. It would have had a very nice aged look, and it would have really complemented just as well with Toronto's royal blue sweaters. But you know what? If they took that same design, got rid of the beige, made it all white, took the word mark off, and made the logo red and white, my goodness, that would be one hell of a gorgeous alternate. But with the Addy Zero collars and the dimpled shoulders, it's just not going to work. It's probably going to be some type of mediocre alternate, which is a crying shame because Detroit's an original six team, and they should not be dinking around with their uniforms, period. I know people do like the Rangers Lady Liberty jerseys, but I also do not feel that the Rangers should bring those back. For a full-time alternate, um, well, okay, maybe I'll throw in an exception. If they brought back their navy blue heritage jersey with the New York script on the front or the diagonal word mark on the front as a special heritage jersey to wear 5 times a year and had a Liberty alternate, I could live with it if the jersey design for the Liberty jersey was good. That I could live with. Um, do I have any thoughts on the Athletic Knit being the jersey manufacturer of the ECHL for the next 3 years? Um, I haven't seen any of their jerseys that they've created except for some special event jerseys in the East Coast Hockey League with some real heavy gradient effects on them. And, I mean, I think that there's a chance they could be okay, but I don't follow the East Coast Hockey League enough to really know what they've done. I mean, sometimes you see the odd post on sportslogos.net for some special event uniforms in that league, but I just don't think I just don't think that Athletic Knit is really going to come out with a bunch of uniforms that we look at and go, wow, they need to take over from Adidas in the NHL right now. But hopefully they prove me wrong. I mean, I'm willing to give them a chance. That's for damn sure. Um, I am kind of as I say that though, I am kind of now excited to see what they do come up with. I mean, hopefully they're going to be the start of convincing hockey jersey manufacturers that, hey, big, fat, ugly, round collars are horrible and they need to be burned in a dumpster fire as soon as possible. Wow, that's a very interesting opinion, Pie Eater. I wasn't expecting that from anybody. So you think the 2014 jerseys are better than their main jerseys? Wow, that's a cool opinion. I mean, it's actually really cool to talk to somebody who has a very radical or radically different opinion. Sorry, from my own. Someone who's got a total opposite opinion on that jersey. Um, this is actually pretty cool because it's for me. Sometimes when it comes to jerseys, I do enjoy hearing different opinions because you know I'm always curious to hear what other people think. But for me, I just feel that scarlet, a bright, beautiful hue of red, like the one the Red Wings have always used, with vintage white, just do not look good together. I mean, if that red was more of a wine type of color, contrasting with the cream would give it such a beautiful aged look. That to me would be beautiful. And I know that Detroit's always been red and white, but an aged red, like a wine color with the beige, without the Detroit script on that sweater would be one hell of a gorgeous idea, in my opinion. It would really look like it was something kind of pulled out of a museum and out of like an old hockey museum or something. And you know what? It go a little bit against the Red Wings' history of having just bright red and white sweaters. But I think something like that would be so cool. But for me, scarlet red and beige just do not go well together. I mean, the Minnesota Wild's home jersey that was bright red with beige and dark green on it was okay. And I felt that the Red Wings 2014 Winter Classic was not only okay, I still feel that if they do make it a third jersey next year, I could live with it. But, I just, for me, with Detroit, I honestly don't like that they're getting a third jersey. And after seeing that digital six jersey, which was a Detroit Cougars or the 2009 Winter Classic with the new Addy Zero collar and the Red Wings crest on the front, regular logo or their logo. I'm sorry if that's something like that's what they're going to do for a new third next year. I'm not a fan. It just doesn't look right. I mean, I don't think that every single NHL team should have a third jersey. I mean, teams with storied hockey history, such as Detroit and Montreal, should. I don't think they should have a third jersey. I mean, if Montreal wants to wear their 2016 Winter Classic sweaters as a special, heritage jersey for maybe 2 or 3 games a year, that would be wonderful. But besides that, I don't want to see them with a third. I love Detroit's red and white jerseys. Yeah, and you know what? I don't want to see them with a third. And you know what? I haven't seen. They don't have enough of a beautiful throwback jersey catalog to choose from. They're not like a Chicago or even a Boston where they've had decades worth of different jersey variations where you could pick out a throwback here and there and wear them and they would be beautiful additions to perfect jerseys already. Even though thanks to Adidas, Chicago's jerseys have gone to hell thanks to those awful collars. And if that leak is true, Nick, I mean, it just proves that Adidas is a terrible, terrible choice for hockey jerseys, at least in my opinion. Um, and that they've done a terrible job. I mean, I still think the Addy Zero collars and Addy Zero jerseys have all been bad. I mean, some of the designs have been good. Some of them have been very good. But the template itself, I've disliked it from day one. Um, but yeah, no. And you know what? Speaking of Detroit, there's two ideas too that are possible too. Perhaps to bring out the white throwback from the 1940s that Gordie Howe used to wear, or possibly the Detroit Cougars barber pole jersey from that the Red Wings did bring out in the 91-92 season as a special throwback that year. I mean, I've wanted to see that jersey come back for years, eh? I still think they should have worn that in the Centennial Classic against the Toronto Arena's throwbacks. That to me is what they should have done. And that white jersey that Detroit wore for that game should have been their Stadium Series jersey against Colorado, without the silver stripes on the top of each arm or set of arm stripes. And that Centennial Classic jersey that Toronto wore, that should be their third jersey right now. I don't understand how a jersey that beautiful is only given one game to be used for. That to me is a joke. Oh, yes, Nick, I agree. Those collars look horrible. You know what, Nick? You should yell, "Damn you, Adidas," because if they can't even find a way to integrate those still awful but less awful CCM quick light collars, then it just, in my opinion, they just don't have an idea how to make a proper hockey jersey, in my opinion. Oh, you know what, Nick? That's another Blackhawks jersey that I love. I mean, the barber pole is crazy and definitely an outdated product of its time, but as a special throwback to wear, oh, excuse me, I still think to this day that is a gorgeous sweater. It's definitely a product of its time, but that's what I like about it. It's a real throwback. I mean, when you look at teams like Montreal and Detroit, I mean, Detroit's jersey era, basically they had some time during like the 30s and 40s where they had a white jersey that had a single red stripe on each arm and around the waist, just like, say, the Kings 67 throwbacks, for example. That same type of design that's very simple. A stripe on each arm and one red stripe around the waist. If they did that with even the Addy Zero rounded collar, I think that would be a wonderful alternate. I mean, I don't want to see Detroit really try something new, even though I feel that they absolutely hit it out of the ballpark with their Stadium Series jersey logo. The jerseys were abominations, and the whole uniforms, for Christ's sake, but that logo was one part of that uniform that I've never disliked. Reebok and Detroit did a fabulous job with it. So I'm thinking that's going to appear on their new third jersey, but I want to see Detroit go with a throwback. And you know what, Pie Eater? I would rather see the Red Wings wear their 2014 Winter Classics again as a full-time third than do something new. I mean, I don't see, for me, there's some teams that I feel are so damn good and have such a small catalog of throwbacks and designs to choose from that I don't want to see them necessarily bring it back. I mean, for teams like Boston and Chicago, you know what? They have such a long lineage of uniforms and different uniform variations that, seeing some of these throwback designs come back once in a while is awesome. But for teams like Montreal, do I really want to see Montreal with a third jersey? Absolutely not. I didn't even really care for their NHL 100 Classic jersey either. I mean, I know it was a throwback to their original white jersey design from the 1930s. It was a faux back with some silver on it, which that was a huge no-no for me. And that Addy Zero collar. I mean, the Adidas collars as a whole are just god awful. I mean, the only thing about Adidas is that there are some teams like the Oilers, um, like the St. Louis Blues and the Devils, even though I hate their jerseys now. Um, they did do one thing right, and that is their Addy Zero collars. They did make them work. I mean, teams like, for example, Tampa Bay. I mean, their jerseys are too much like Toronto, and their new third jersey sucks, in my opinion. But you know what? Their collars are not terrible. Let's see if there's any more comments on here at this point. Um, okay, why am I getting some pop-ups on my computer now? How long have I been talking for? Okay, I've been talking for about an hour, 15 minutes. It's amazing how fast time goes when you're having fun with these, eh? Yeah, you need to get that 75th anniversary throwback replaced, Nick. That's a beautiful jersey. Try and find one for yourself. Do you think there should be at least a couple hockey games on during summer? No. And here's my reason why, Sean. To be honest, I really enjoy having a break from hockey now and then. You know what? I love hockey. Hockey is my absolute favorite sport. But for me, I enjoy having some time away from hockey because that gives me more time to focus on other things that I love, such as the Canadian Football League and also the NFL when it starts up in September. I love watching the CFL. And for the American viewers, I also love the NFL. I mean, the CFL is my absolute favorite. But the NFL, I like it just as much, to be honest. There's things about the CFL that I do love better. And I like the fact that, it's our own unique league up here in Canada. But I love the rules in the CFL, like the fact that their overtimes aren't just over as soon as the first team with possession scores a touchdown. I feel the CFL has better rules. I like the three-down game, and I like the fact that it's something extra to watch during the summer as well. I mean, the NFL, I will always enjoy the NFL in terms of the games. But for me, I really enjoy the CFL. But I also, as I say that, though, I equally like the NFL. I like it just as much. But for me, I love the CFL because I get to watch it during the summer. And when the NFL starts, once it gets going, I mean, do I watch some of the NFL games over hockey now in the past 5 years? Yes, I do, because some of the games are really, really great games of huge significance. But for me, I wouldn't want to see hockey all summer long. Like for me, I love how May has the Memorial Cup and the World Hockey Championship. And then in June, you finish up the Stanley Cup final and the draft, and then free agency on the 1st of July. And then after that, you have a couple months where, you just get to enjoy other stuff. I don't even mind watching Major League Soccer once in a while. And you know what? Once in a blue moon, I don't mind watching a little bit of baseball in the summer too. And for me, what I like about the summer is it's a break from hockey, but it also gives me a chance to watch some other sports that I wouldn't watch as much if hockey was on. I'm just trying to read some more of your comments. On during summer. I may not want the golfer style collar for the Hawks, but I will have to buy them. Oh, I know how you feel about having to buy them, Nick, but you know what? I think your money could be spent on better jerseys than those. I hate to say it, Nick, but you know what? I think you should try and spend your money on a team issued Blackhawks jersey that you may not have a team issued version of. Or, you know what, maybe buy a different jersey. I mean, I understand how you feel because I know you're a huge Blackhawks fan and and as far as I know, you're very passionate about collecting their jerseys too, which is awesome as well. I know you've got a few of them, but I would not be going out and spending extra money from after the first Addy Zero debacles for their collars, and now they're slightly, I guess, they're not even really that big of they're not really even improvements in my opinion. They're just a little bit of a band-aid. There's still a big, big wound. I mean, the problem is that the collars actually need surgery, but instead of doing some surgery, they're just putting a band-aid on it and saying, "Okay, folks, this is good enough. Here you go." I'm sorry, I just don't like what the Blackhawks are doing if that's the case. But my best advice is, if you want to buy them, then all the power to you. But what I would recommend is, you know what, keep your money and possibly try and buy something a little bit better. Buy a better jersey that's got a nice collar on it. Or even possibly try and buy yourself an authentic if you want to. Or use that money and buy yourself a DeBrincat Erie Otters jersey. That's what I would recommend. Have any idea what Nashville and Dallas will bring up for the Winter Classic game this upcoming season? Actually, you know what, Orbital? I have been saying it for at least the past 2 or 3 years. But you've heard it from me first, and I've said this numerous times, but I think the Dallas Stars are either bringing out a special Dallas Texans throwback sweater, or they will do a special Dallas Texans inspired throwback sweater, which they'll take that logo design and it'll say Stars, and somewhere inside it will have a star. They're going to do something special, and rightfully so. And I'm so happy, and I have so much respect for the Stars for going in a direction that's not going to be the North Stars. I want the Dallas Stars to be the Dallas Stars. I want the Minnesota Wild to be the ones who pay homage to the North Stars. And I understand this. Dallas Stars are the original Minnesota North Stars. That's what they are. That's their history. It's not the Wilds. But if there's going to be one of the two teams to pay homage to the original NHL team in Minnesota, I think it should be the team that resides in Minnesota. It's just a matter of personal opinion, of course, and I don't want to get into a debate with anybody in the chat here about that, because I mean, you could say, oh well, the Stars should be the ones because they have the history, and technically you're right. But for me, I just feel it's not right if there's already a team that's located in Minnesota to not be the ones to do it. And for me, I know that the Stars bought the rights to the Texans' name, logos, and uniforms, or logos and uniforms, at least, and the rights to use that stuff. So they didn't just buy that stuff just to throw money out to show off to somebody. They bought it for a reason, and that's why I'm very confident that that's either going to be what they go with, which instead of it being white with lots of red on it, which is what it was originally, it'll be white and victory green. And it might even be a victory green sweater as well. But I'm thinking it's going to be either that with victory green instead of red, or something very close to it, inspired by those. With Nashville, I think they could do something inspired by the Dixie Flyers, which were some old kind of professional hockey team that used to be in Nashville or in Tennessee. So they're both teams are going to pay homage to the hockey histories in their cities. Which, you know what, that would be pretty cool to see what they come up with. But they're going to have those rounded collars that Adidas has had for all the Winter Classic games, and hopefully these ones are good. I mean, this year's Winter Classic sweaters have given me some hope that maybe the Adidas era might see some turnarounds in the jersey department. So hopefully Dallas and Nashville won't disappoint, but I do think it's a bit weird seeing Nashville in a Winter Classic. But at the same time, though, I mean, it's nice to finally see two new teams playing in a game. So, and it's a new take on the Winter Classic. So I'm open to it. And you know what? Hopefully the jerseys and the game itself are going to be great to see. Okay, so Pie Eater, I'm going to take some heat here, but I think the Jets should bring out an Atlanta Thrashers throwback. Well, okay, since you're on my live stream, you're not going to get any heat. I know it sounds like you and I have some differing opinions. Like, for example, you really like the 2014 Winter Classic sweater. I'm not as big of a fan of it. I'm not the biggest fan of it. But you will not get any heat from me, let me tell you. I think it might be a little bit too soon for a Thrashers throwback, but at the same time, though, I mean, I'd rather see them wear a Thrashers throwback than their new third jersey. I mean, that jersey, in my opinion, is pretty damn boring, if you ask me. And honestly, I don't like the shade of aviator blue as the main color of a jersey. I'd rather see the Jets wear a powdered blue instead of the aviator blue. There's just something about it. It's a little too dark. And it just doesn't work for me. The color, I just don't like it. It just doesn't complement with the navy blue as much. I think it needs to be brighter to better contrast with the navy blue. I might actually be the one to take a bit of heat for my comment over yours, Pie Eater. But would I be against the Jets doing a Thrashers throwback at some point? No, but would I be against it in the short term? Yes. I feel like it's a little bit too soon. But if they ever played an exhibition game in Atlanta and it was televised, I think it would be wonderful if they did. That I think we could both agree on. But at some point in the future, I think it would be cool. I mean, the Thrashers jerseys were nothing special ever, but at the same time, it would be kind of cool to see, the Thrashers' weird uniform, light blue uniforms, especially their pre-edge uniform, the powder blue one, make a comeback as a throwback at some point. I would be open to that. I mean, the Thrashers' time in the National Hockey League, unfortunately for folks in Atlanta, was totally mediocre. They didn't even win a single playoff game in their franchise's short-lived history before, of course, it thankfully relocated to Winnipeg. As you can tell by the way I worded that, I am very biased because I have felt that, Winnipeg was always more deserving of a team than Atlanta. And it sucks that the Jets were ever relocated to Arizona in the first place. So it's great that they have a Winnipeg Jets team again. And so they should. But yeah, I mean, in the future, if the Jets did a Thrashers throwback, I'd love to see it at some point. But in the next 5 to 10 years, I think it's a bit too soon. At least over the next 5. At least until they've been in Winnipeg for 15 years. Then after that, if they did a Thrashers throwback, okay, that'd be kind of cool. I actually wouldn't disagree with you on that. I'm not a big baseball fan. I mostly watch CFL during the summer. Sean, you and I are in agreement on that one. And once the NFL gets going, I really enjoy watching that myself. And I also don't mind watching Major League Soccer while it's on, too. During the summer, I love watching MLS and CFL. Even as an American, I like the CFL. It's awesome that you enjoy it as much as we do, Pie Eater. And Pie Eater, I agree. I love watching Major League Soccer as well. Soccer is not my favorite sport, but you know what? Since it is North American, I do enjoy watching it now and then. I'm not a big soccer fan, but I don't mind watching a little bit of Major League Soccer once in a while. That's for sure. And for me, I love the CFL. And you know what? I love football. It's my second favorite sport. So, watching the CFL in the summer and watching the NFL once it gets going is always awesome. I watch both. And on Sundays, I love watching the NFL. And there's sometimes Thursday nights and Monday nights where there's little to no NHL hockey or games I'm not interested in. So the NFL does a wonderful job of filling in that void in the fall, too, especially on Mondays and Thursday nights when there is nothing else on. But I hate the color rush uniforms. I love the jerseys, a lot of the jerseys that they came up with, but the uniforms being all one color, that just doesn't work for me. Never has, never will. Okay, next comment on the list. Imagine if it's Atlanta Flames versus Atlanta Thrashers for the Heritage Classic game this season. Woo-wee! That is just not something I want to see. I'm sorry, Orbital. I'm sorry, Pie Eater, but I mean, it would be cool if they maybe did that as for maybe the warm-up jerseys. That would be kind of a nice homage to both teams' histories. But besides that, I will say this, though. I mean, I think it'd be really cool if they did that and hosted a preseason game in Atlanta and had both teams do that. That, in my opinion, is something they should do. I would love to see that because I know there are some hockey fans in Atlanta. It's just a shame that, they all look bad because there wasn't enough fan support. Which is, as much as I love having the Jets back, I wish, there could be this wonderful zen in hockey where even places like Cleveland and, of course, Atlanta could all have NHL teams and Quebec City, of course. And everybody could be all kumbaya with sellout crowds everywhere you go as if it's like the NFL. But unfortunately, we're probably never going to see that. Okay. The good summer hockey to watch is the Australian Ice Hockey League. Whoa, 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 whoa. They live stream games on YouTube, and it's hockey. I've never seen it before. I might one day have to check it out at some point, maybe. I am shocked that Australia has hockey. Not good hockey, it's professional hockey. Well, you know what? It's cool that the Australians do have some type of hockey, though. I do tip my hat to them. I love the AIHL. Oh, that's cool. So you guys actually watch some Australian hockey? That's pretty cool to know. Same here, Pie Eater. All right. Sorry, guys. I'm just reading your comments out loud. I won't. I'll stop doing that. But it's just I enjoy reading your comments. By the way. Oh, you know what, Sean? I was so happy to see Italy and Great Britain make it into the World Hockey Championship again. You know what? I understand where you're coming from about how some of these teams have no business being in that competition because they're just going to get spanked by the major competitors every year. But you know what? I'm of the belief that if the other guys don't get a chance, they're never going to get better. So you know what? For me, I really enjoy seeing upset underdog stories like Italy and Great Britain, and I tip my hat to both of those countries. And you know what? I can't wait to see them in it again next year. Rock, I have to collect the Hawks jerseys. I can understand that, Nick. I know how you feel about it, but for me, you know, as you say that, though, I do. Part of me feels like, you know, you could maybe get something better than what they're going to be coming up with for next year if that quote unquote Fanatics League is true. NFL, MLS, and NHL. For me, yes, that's me too, Pie Eater. And for me, also, you know, I would say Canadian Football League for sure. I do not like baseball or basketball at all. But right now, with the Raptors in the finals, I'm definitely on the bandwagon. I'm actually proud to say that I'm on the bandwagon, even though I can't stand basketball. I will always root for the Canadian teams. And Toronto, I really do hope that they're going to win over Golden State, but they're going to have it in tough. Golden State has a great team, and even though I am very, very, very basketball stupid in terms of my knowledge, I do know that the Golden State Warriors are a fantastic team with the likes of Stephen Curry and Kevin Durant. They've got one hell of a damn good roster. But baseball, sometimes in the summer, if I've got a day off of work and I can tune in during the morning or afternoon and there's a game on, sometimes it's nice to just sit there and just watch it, but it's too slow for me. Even though, you know, watching the odd game once in a while, especially during the playoffs, is pretty exciting. Sometimes. I don't mind the NBA. I'm glad that there are people out there who like it. I just get tired of the back and forth. I find it very, what's the word for it? Monotonous, very repetitive, and I just find it kind of boring. And I hate the fact that they have ads on their jerseys too, Sean, as you well know, and we've talked about on our Discord quite a bit. I like March Madness, not so much the NBA. I've never gotten into March Madness, but you know what? It does look like it's some pretty exciting basketball, though. I will say that. Yes, Sean, I agree. Ads on should not be on any sports jerseys. I'm more impartial to them being on jerseys for say Major League Soccer teams and the Canadian Football League. I mean, soccer jerseys. You know, I mean they would be pretty plain without the ads in one way, but there are teams like if you look at the '70s throwbacks from the Vancouver Whitecaps in Major League Soccer back when they played in the old North American Soccer League, for example. I mean, I'd rather see a jersey design like that rather than their new white jersey, which is actually pretty damn nice. That has this great big advertisement for one of our um, telecommunications companies here in Canada, Bell. Which I'm saying it like that so that you American and the other non-Canadian viewers know what I'm talking about. Um, I would love to see a Thrasher jersey again. I think it's too soon. I mean, you know what? Their jerseys were very weird and wacky. Their powder blue ones were weird and wacky. But you know, Would I be against them ever bringing them back? Would I be against them bringing them back? I mean, um, as of right now, yes. But in the future, in say 10 to 15 years, not at all. I think as a one-off thing now and then, or for a special preseason game in Atlanta, I think that'd be really cool. But besides that, I no thanks. You miss the Thrashers pie eater. You're not the only one who misses the Thrashers. I know a lot of people who do. But for me, I'd rather have the Winnipeg Jets in a seventh team in Canada than the Atlanta Thrashers any day. At least in my biased opinion. Um, yeah, no, the Atlanta on the sleeves, I didn't like it either, but I love the fact that they were the only team that had a full-time powder blue home jersey. And on top of that, their design was weird and for the most part something I didn't care for, but at the same time though, it was definitely unique. I can't say that it wasn't. And you know what? They did have that weird angle type pattern in the collar of their old white jersey in the Reebok era and their original one too. They were creative, but they weren't my favorite uniforms, that's for sure. Oh, you've got a couple Thrashers jerseys as well, ain't it? That's cool. Actually, I will make a confession as well. I do have a Thrashers Reebok Edge jersey. I do have their powder blue home one. There was one time where I almost bought a team issued red Thrashers third jersey, but because it was so friggin' ugly, I just couldn't justify spending more than $150 Canadian max. It's just that was one of the ugliest jerseys in NHL history. I mean, that thing was an abomination in all ways, shapes, and forms. There was no saving grace to it. Nothing. Nothing at all. It was horrendous. I have an upper deck Lettinen mini jersey. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yep, those mini jerseys were cool. I think I have one myself actually, not of Kari Lettinen, but of somebody else. I can't remember who. Okay, you guys. Right now it's quarter after the hour, and I'm gonna try and wrap this stream up in the next 5 minutes. Oh, that's cool. Oh, you've got the red third jersey. Oh, wow, that's really cool, Nick. Um, so for this, since this is my very first official live stream in channel history, I'm not going to go to another stage and potentially take Discord calls. I'm not going to do that here. Um, the reason why is because this is my first live stream. I've already been talking for quite a while, and on top of that, though, um, I want to see how a first official stream goes first before I really start to expand and take on more things. I'm not even sure how the Discord would work because yes, I could talk to you over Discord, but I don't know if my microphone on my current computer would be able to do a Discord call. Where if I was doing a stream on my cell phone, I guarantee it would be great or relatively decent. Um, ooh, excuse me, I just burped. Um, let's see. Any closing remarks I'm going to make at this point? I do want to get this off my chest. I honestly have disliked Adidas in the NHL since day one. I mean, I hate the perforated shoulder yokes, the new collars, the new NHL shield, the cut of the jerseys, and the contoured waist striping, which is fancy terminology for crooked waist striping that's not straight. Everything Adidas has touched has turned to crap. I mean, you see even the new Vancouver Canucks jerseys that were leaked this week from sportslogos.net, thanks to, or talked about on that site, thanks to a leak on Reddit. I mean, they still have the toilet seat collars. Same with Toronto. The shiny Chromaflex NHL shields, I think, are absolutely horrible. I mean, you look at teams like, for example, Vancouver, Toronto, and Chicago. Chicago has the worst collars in the entire NHL. And you know what? Now they're going from polo shirt collars to toilet seat collars. or golfer shirt collars, as Nick said earlier. And you know what? I just don't agree with it. Even their new designs. I mean, I think it's cool that the Hurricanes have the heather red striping. It's kind of neat for something new, but I just don't like their uniform. I mean, their new alternate logo's not bad. I like the logo, but the old third jersey it replaced was far better. The Storm Square striping. Even the third jersey designs in the Reebok era, in my opinion, were a lot better. I mean, even the Sharks' new stealth jersey. I love the stealth logos, but the jersey, you can't even. What good is it if you can't even see the details on the arms? I mean, the thin teal stripes on each arm, you could barely see them on the ice. They almost look like they're wearing black practice jerseys. Tampa Bay's new alternate is terrible as well. I mean, at least it no longer has the Bolts word mark on the front, and at least it's something new. It's not just a ripoff of the Kings home jersey. But, I just, everything Adidas has touched is more about how dark can we make our jerseys rather than, hey, let's sit down and make a nice jersey design. It's like, in my opinion, it's almost like they just make something that's just passable so that they can replace it every few years with something new to sell more jerseys, because they know that as folks who love jerseys are going to go, oh my God, I have to buy the newest and latest thing. Or even when it gets discounted and cut in price, they're still going to be able to sell it. It's like they've got it down to a formula. And unfortunately, I feel like we're seeing this far too often now. And it's a formula that I've really unfortunately seen too many times in the NFL lately. Just like with the Jacksonville Jaguars. They created their hideous abominations back around 2013. And then last year they switched to cleaner jerseys. But the problem is they're so damn boring. So now they go from ultra crazy and modern and ugly to plain and boring, instead of creating something great. And this is something that kind of pissed me off about the Maple Leafs' new uniforms too. Are they okay? Yeah, but they're a bit plain to me. And something else, I don't want to see an original six team changing their designs all the time, or every 25 years or so like Toronto. I want to see them find one perfect medium or one perfect design and stick with it. I want them to be like Chicago. I want them to be like Detroit. I want them to be like Montreal. I mean, I wouldn't even mind seeing the Bruins put the B inside their logo back to being gold like the 70s. At least on their home jersey. And bring back the gold socks, by the way. I mean, I've talked about Chicago, Montreal, Detroit, the Rangers, and Toronto. And who's the other? Oh, God, I'm having a brain fart here. Colossal brain fart. Boston, Detroit, the New York Rangers, and Chicago. I mean, Chicago's jerseys, except for those colors, are perfect. Detroit's jerseys are perfect. Montreal's jerseys, fix the colors and fix the numbers on the away jersey and get rid of the white outline, and bam, their jerseys are perfect. Even with those Addy Zero colors, I could live with it. And yeah, I miss Reebok too, Pie Eater. I mean, I get so tired of what the Adidas era has brought. I mean, even the first Winter Classic jerseys, Buffalo's was decent, but New York's, I did not like it. I mean, this year's Winter Classic jerseys, I thought Chicago's was doable. I actually like it. And I like Boston's, but I wish that the arm striping didn't completely connect with the shoulder yoke. I think there should be some white on the arms with brown numbers between the arm striping and the shoulder yoke. I mean, the Stadium Series jerseys too. Toronto's Stadium Series jersey was excellent. I thought they did a wonderful job. Washington's, it's just like they took the USA World Cup of Hockey navy blue jersey from 2016 and put a big monstrous block of red around the waist and a white shoulder yoke and that Caps word mark that looks like it belongs on some crappy NBA jersey, and said, okay, good enough. Ottawa's NHL 100 Classic sweater. It was okay, but I didn't really like that big fat O on the front. I would have liked it if it had the same shape as the Heritage jerseys. And, Montreal's, I mean, you know, I get it. It was supposed to be a tribute to their original, the very first white jersey design in Habs history, going back to the early to mid 1930s. But I didn't want to see it with silver in all the years that the teams won the goddamn Stanley Cup. And Ottawa, when the original Senators actually could win a cup, which the current ones haven't been able to do yet, which I'm hoping that they will at some point, because I want to see a Canadian team win a cup. But you know, I just I'm really getting tired of some of the stuff. I mean, and now if this leak from about the Blackhawks updated collars for next season is accurate, I mean, I'm super disappointed. I mean, their farm team at least can get their collars right. I mean, at least the Rockford Ice Hogs CCM Quick Light collars are feasible. I don't like the crooked waist striper. I don't like these minor little changes that Adidas made to the socks at the Maple Leafs, or no, at the Boston Bruins. It's almost like they're kind of OCD-ish when it comes to uniform design, where everything has to match or it's not right. I mean, thankfully, when they did that to the Canucks, it was a huge improvement. And by the way, I'm not a fan of their updated uniforms that have leaked. I actually feel that the Orca needs the word mark above it to help take some of the attention away from an Orca logo that looks like it does not belong on those vintage style jerseys. I love the idea of the white stick and rank logo on the shoulders of the home jersey. And that will be the logo on their new royal blue third jersey coming up this coming season. And it's likely either going to be on their longtime Reebok Edge era third instead of the blue one, or it's going to be something more like their 70s blue jerseys, or maybe even the original with the V's on the arms. But I'm thinking it's going to be something more contemporary, more modernized. But you know, as I say, you know, even the new leagues, they won't even fix the collars. I thought from the rumors that I heard on the or read on the internet that Adidas would offer new collar options for teams next year. If this collar option that I've seen on the Blackhawks Fnatic replica that was shown on our Discord recently by Nick is legit, that to me is not a new collar option. It's just a little band-aid mini fix-up job that's just downright pathetic in my opinion. I just everything Adidas has come up with in terms of new designs overall, I have not been a fan of. The stealth jerseys for the Sharks look like black practice jerseys with some nice logos on them. The stealth logos look great, but you know, and the jerseys, and the problem is that, in my opinion, when it comes to uniform design now, people seem to forget that just because it looks good on a computer screen doesn't mean it's going to look good when it's on a uniform on the ice in IRL in real life on camera. I feel that Carolina's new third was too damn dark throughout the playoffs. I mean, you know, if they want to make a matching away version of it for next season, I'm okay with that. But when it's time to when they can fix the home jersey, they better fix it. And I do hear that at some point, what I do think is going to likely happen is the Hurricanes will have a matching away jersey to match their updated home jersey. And when they do that, they'll put their third jersey logo on the shoulders of those jerseys, by the way. But I actually did not mind Carolina's away jersey. I don't mind their current one. There's something about its traditional look that I don't mind, and the weird shoulder yoke that has the player name inside it. There's something about it that I don't mind. I mean, if they just took that and made the waist striping match the home jersey, I think that would be good. But you know what? I mean, I don't know, folks. I don't even, and you know what? Even Colorado's updated jerseys, I mean, they're far better than what they've replaced. But I feel like they're totally mismatched, and it's as if they've based their entire identity off of a good alternate jersey, aka their home jersey. It's almost like an alternate jersey that they just figured, okay, let's make it our home jersey and make it a away jersey based off. I mean, the away jersey has so little in blue; they're mismatched, and I've never been a fan of the mountain-shaped uniforms. And I agree with everybody; they're unique, and I don't love them. I never have. You know what? Some of the nicest jerseys I've seen with burgundy have come from the Latvian hockey national hockey teams. Black, white, burgundy, and silver. Great combination. This royal blue, or light, or kind of aviator-ish blue, kind of like what the Jets have on their new third jersey. Nah, nothing really exciting. It's a matter of opinion, of course. Yes, I miss my Reebok. I miss the Reebok Hawks jerseys too, Nick. I'm looking at mine actually right now and thinking about it. Yes, I want to see a green Canuck jersey too. You know, I get tired of the Canucks just wearing blue. Like, you know, I really want to see Kelly Green. And you know what? Speaking of getting heat for saying something, Pie Eater, I think I'm going to get heat for saying this. But I do not like the shade of green that the Dallas Stars used. I think it's too bluish in its tinge. I wish it was just Kelly Green, and I wish that they would get rid of that goddamn awful logo they now have. I think it sucks. I do not like it at all. Sorry, guys, I was just grabbing a glass of water here. Well, you know what, Pie Eater, I agree. I mean, you know what? The design of their jerseys is good, really good. I mean, I love their away jersey by itself, but I just can't get behind that logo. And the victory green on a white jersey looks great because the white makes it look even brighter than it really is. But I feel like the green one, I don't like this Irish greenish victory blue, or I mean victory green color that they've got that's got hints of blue in it, or a bluish tinge to it. Sorry, it's a very it's explaining it is very complicated. So, you know, I'm just trying to word it the best I can. And you know what? You know, Nick, I mean, I know what you're saying about it being a ripoff of the Hawks St. Patrick's Day jerseys, but you know what? I think it's a ripoff that's a good ripoff. It's one that I think it works, but I'm not sure. I mean, you know, if the Stars had a simple green jersey with the main part of the striping being white with a pair of thin black stripes on each side of that white stripe, same type of striping as the Vancouver Canucks home jersey, for example. Around the waist and on the arms, I think that would look good if it was in Kelly green with possibly the Dallas Stars logo from the early 90s. The one that just says Stars on it without the Dallas subscript above it. That to me would be fantastic. But anyways, you guys, is there anything? I'm going to come back in just a minute. I'm going to get a glass of water real quick, and then I'll come back to wrap up my very first official live stream. Um, Okay, guys, sorry for the delay. My throat's getting really dry. Um, if the Stars went back to their '99 jerseys, no. In my opinion, I still believe very strongly that their current jerseys are far superior. But you know, for an alternate, it would be okay. I mean, maybe if they did a black version with the victory green on the sides instead of it being dark green and black. I mean, dark green and black together, in my opinion, is a horrible combination. And you know what? That's kind of why I think the Minnesota Wild's third jersey is having problems getting permission from the NHL because you're putting dark on dark. But the problem is that if you can have super dark jerseys like the Tampa Bay Lightning's new third, San Jose's stealthy third, and of course um, the Philadelphia Flyers Stadium Series jersey from 2017 as alternate uniforms. What the hell could possibly be wrong with Minnesota's? Unless the numbers are in black or in dark green, then okay. But all you need to do is make the letters and numbers, or at least the letters beige, and the numbers just illegible enough, even dark green numbers with bright beige or white trim, and it could work. I mean, if they've let all these other designs that are ultra dark get approval, then why can't they approve the Minnesota Wilds? Caps made a third jersey that had a logo that wasn't a word mark. You want to see? I mean, well, for me, Nick, I know I'm not pie eater, but I would like to see a new Capitals jersey with the Weagle on the front. I mean, I love the throwbacks, and I don't want to see them go anywhere. But if they decided to make that a 5-time-a-year heritage sweater, and then brought out a Weagle jersey for a couple of years, or even 3 or 4, or maybe even up to 5 years, I would be okay with that because it'd be something new. And you know what? A lot of fans have wanted to see it, and you know what? I do agree. It would be cool to see something new with the Weagle on the front. It should have been the logo on the Stadium Series jersey. Either that or the new modern take or the new updated W logo that the Capitals had only on the pants of their Stadium Series jersey from last season. But anyways, you guys, there is some stuff I do have to take care of tonight. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to call it a wrap on this live stream now. I will call it a wrap on this live stream now because there is some stuff that I will have to take care of tonight outside of the channel. But anyways, you guys, I want to say this. Thank you very much for making this first ever live stream or official live stream on this channel absolutely amazing. I have enjoyed every second of it and talking to all of you guys and reading your comments. And it's so cool that so many of you got to take part tonight. But another quick note, I am going to work on a Facebook channel update video to hopefully even get uploaded as soon as tonight. And on top of that, what I want to do as well is I want to film at least one more final video on my old cell phone with footage, with actual visuals before I fully transition to my new cell phone full-time going forward, effective tomorrow. So I'm going to make a slight tweak to my plan. So what I will still do is for podcast style videos with no visuals, I'm going to continue to maybe sometimes use the old cell phone if I'm uploading something with the new one, so that I can do 2 videos at once. And while that one's getting done, then I could get a new one going at the same time. And then once the first one's done, then I can upload the second. It's like a double whammy. I mean, if I did it enough in a day, I'd possibly be uploading as many videos as the hockey guy at some point. I mean, I don't think I'm going to be able to get at that level at any time soon, but you know what? Even if I did that for one day here and there, that would be pretty friggin' awesome, now wouldn't it? A lot of fun. Take care, and everyone have a good night. Thank you, Nick. Same to you. Good night to you, Pie Eater. Good night to you, Sean. Oh my God, I hope I didn't forget anybody. And good night to you, Orbital X Stride 52. You guys, it's been a pleasure doing this stream. I'm looking forward to doing more of these in the future, let me tell you. And hopefully at some point I'll be able to do one with better sound quality. All right, you guys, I'm going to call it a wrap on this. And of course, as always, folks, take care. And as usual, bye for now. And have a great night. And once again, guys, quick reminder, I do post monthly channel updates on my Facebook page, same name as the channel. So check that out if you want to see those extra videos. If you don't, I totally understand. And sometimes I do post some extra stuff on there that you won't even see on Discord. But anyways, you guys, after talking for close to 2 hours now, I want to thank you all for taking part. It's been a pleasure talking to all of you. It's been awesome reading your comments and hearing your opinions. It's amazing to hear some of the what other people think, and how some people think similarly, some people think differently. You know, it would be boring if everybody thought the same way. That's for damn sure. Um, you know what? It's more fun when you can hear different opinions and actually, you know, talk about what you like the same, what you don't like compared to each other's thoughts. And you know what? That's fun. I enjoy it. And guys, I really enjoy talking to all of you, whether it's here, it's Discord, Facebook, or any of my videos. Well, let me tell you, you guys are all great, by the way. But on that final note, folks, it is 40 minutes past the hour, whether you're in the Pacific time zone, the Mountain time zone, the Central time zone, or the Atlantic time zone, like Orbital Extract 52, which I did talk to somebody today at work who said that they're 4.5 hours or 3.5 hours ahead in the Mountain time zone and 4.5 hours ahead in the Pacific time zone, which I found very interesting. And 2.5 hours ahead in the Central time zone. So I guess certain parts of the the Maritimes here in Canada on the eastern coast do have slightly differing time zone changes. Maybe where there's one that's even an hour ahead of the eastern time zone, and one that's even an extra half an hour ahead of the Atlantic time zone. But if you know more about that than I do, please mention that to me, because I would like to know that for myself, actually, out of curiosity. But anyways, you guys, I'm now going to finally call it a wrap on the first ever official live stream on this channel. Guys, I'm looking forward to more of these in the future. It's been a blast. You're probably not going to get one once a month from me, at least not right now, but I'm sure that this will at least become a once every 2 to 4 months type of thing. Maybe even more frequent than that in the future. We'll have to wait and see, and whether I can find time for these going forward or not. But anyways, you guys, I hope you all enjoyed this. I know I did, and I enjoyed talking to every one of you who took part. Take care, and of course, as always, bye for now. And after just over 2 hours of talking, this will be it for the first ever official live stream on this channel. It's been great, and until my next video, I'll talk to you all again soon. All right, guys, bye for now.